Hello and welcome to the Red Tent Wisdom Show. You are here with your hosts, Lisa Vickers and Helen Bartram. We will do a quick intro to us in a moment, but first, we just wanted to give you a brief introduction into what the Red Tent Wisdom will entail. When you drop in on our session, you will be getting words of wisdom from Helen and I from our pain points, from things that we have lived and breathed and gone through, and sometimes maybe words of wisdom from other amazing females coming in to join us in the Red Tent Wisdom Show to talk into their pain points. Sometimes there may be the odd man coming through. We love all genders, but predominantly it probably will be female. The Red Tent Wisdom is all about standing in your own power and recognizing who you are. So, my wisdom and Helen's wisdom will be different to yours because we are completely individual. My name's Lisa Vickers. I am a hypnotherapist, a tutor, trainer, and co founder of a business with Helen. We are here to give you everything that we can in terms of standing in your own power of your spirituality and yourself. I'm going to let Helen just introduce herself now.
Hey, hey! Thanks for that lovely intro, Lisa. So I'm Helen, and I think just to kind of reiterate what Lisa was saying, that actually we are here to share our experiences in order to, I guess, sometimes hold that candle in the moments of darkness that you experience and to make you or allow you to understand that we collectively go through stuff and we individually go through stuff. So there might be times that me and Lisa are talking about a topic and potentially what we say actually contradicts one another because we are speaking from our own experience. And although in the world that sometimes may seem a bit incongruent, in terms of what me and Lisa do, it's kind of always well, it's not kind of, it's always sharing from the heart. And my experience is never the same as Lisa's. And although a lot of our teachings are similar, a lot of our practices and things that we do in the world are the same, our experiences are never, ever, ever the same. And for you listening, if we're talking about set topics, something that Lisa says might really resonate with you and what I say might not, and vice versa. And I think we're just here to show you that each of our experiences are very different, and it's finding people that resonate with you and connecting and taking away from that. So although this is the Red Tent Wisdom Show, this is about all of our wisdom, each of our wisdoms, and collectively that might sometimes be the same, but also individually our experiences and wisdom might be very different. So I'm a coach and I work with Reiki intuitively. I'm all about people finding happiness within, and whether that's from using positive psychology tools or leaning more into kind of the spiritual way. I'm just here to kind of, like I said, hold a candle through people's darkness, and hopefully just by showing up and being myself and sharing my wisdom and humanness, that can help guide others on their journey. So thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Helen. That's beautiful. And Helen and I will always bring you back to the moment. That's really important to us, is being here in this moment. And as Helen was speaking, you can't see this because you can't see me, but there was quite a little cheesy grin on my face. Because what she was saying was completely from the heart and beautiful. But I have three butterflies dancing around outside my window, which is just magnificent and probably something I've not ever experienced before. And a lot of what we do will come from the realms of spirituality. Obviously, this is a spirituality radio show, but there will be signs that show up for you everywhere. And part of what we will be doing is helping you find those signs around you. Um, what Helen said in terms of being yourself is a lot of the topic that we will discuss into today, but is what the Red Tent Wisdom embodies and symbolizes, because Helen and I are both very uniquely weird. as you are, as everyone in this world is. We are all weird in our own little way, and we want you to embrace and wear your weird because it is unique and it is you. And we're so afraid of standing out when actually we came here to stand out. We have unique gifts. So a lot of what we will be talking into is leaning into your gifts, leaning into your own wisdom and your own truth. Um, so thank you for taking this time to tune in with us. And
I'd like to just quickly share a story there that piggybacks on what you were just saying. I actually remember going to a convention in a room full of maybe 50, 60 people, and talking to the lady that was on the stage. And she was kind of saying, what is keeping you stuck? Like, why are you not out there sharing your gifts in the world? And I just, in that moment, I was like, I've always felt like I've never fit in. And this lady on the stage turned to every single woman in the room and said, put your hand up if you feel like you've never fit in. And I kid you not, I'd say 99% of people then raised their hand because they felt like they didn't fit in the world. And that 1%, I would edge to say that they felt the same, but just didn't have the confidence to raise their hand. And it was at that point that I realised none of us feel like we fit in because we're not made to. We've each got individual gifts. And when we're looking for a place of belonging, we don't need to look for a place to fit in. We just need to look for a place of connection. And I think that if you can take anything from this radio show, it's about actually being here, like Lisa said, presently listening to what we are sharing, feeling into what we're saying, what resonates with you, where do you feel connection, because we are talking to you. And you were not made to fit in, not in that cheesy kind of meme that we'll see flying around socials about being born to stand out, but just because you are a jigsaw puzzle piece to the here and the now. So what you bring to the table, the gifts that you have to share, are not meant to be like everyone else's, because then the jigsaw wouldn't be complete. So it's kind of owning that I'm not meant to fit in. I'm meant to complement what else is around me. So it's absolutely beautiful that you are tuning in and listening, because I believe there's something that you can take from this, because you are meant to complement what we're talking about.
yeah,
Thank you.
and if you're here, you're absolutely meant to be here. And there's two really great ways that I like to look at that. I love what Helen said with the jigsaw, because if you look at our consciousness in this moment in time, it is a picture, it is a frequency, and we all do have a part of that. But if you think about snowflakes falling, every single snowflake is unique. Not one is the same as another, but collectively, what they create when they land to the ground is beautiful and needed. That's why the weather is changing that moment. We go through cycles in life, and the red tent wisdom is about embracing those cycles. Helen mentioned earlier about, times of struggle and things are going up and down, and this is a lot of what we lean into when we work with our clients. It's understanding that life is cycles. We can't take away pain. We can't take away those teaching moments where it feels like things have gone completely wrong, but you can work with them, lean into them, and flow with them. And a lot of what we discuss during this show will help you to do that.
And I think it's important to add on that from that moment when I realised, hey, I'm not meant to fit in, um, it wasn't all rainbow, sunshine, and glitter. And all of a sudden, I'm cool with being out in the world and I'm sharing my gifts and I'm showing up, because what came after that was probably some of the most challenging times of my life, where I had to deal with the stuff that was stopping me from showing up and the stuff that was stopping me from sharing my gifts. And the one thing you'll get from me and Lisa is just real, raw, honest truths about this spiritual journey, this human experience. And we're not here to kind of make it all rainbows and glitter, because that's not the reality of it. We're not down with mis-selling stuff. So if right now you feel like you are not completely showing up as yourself, or you're withholding yourself, or you don't fit in, it's kind of just about taking the next baby steps. And hopefully over our the course of our show, we can share lots of wisdom and little tools and techniques and just stuff for you to reflect on, that can help you in moving forward. But you just being patient with yourself and being okay and accepting of where you're at, and also okay with looking to take the next step, is equally as important as anything that anybody else can say, because you are the expert of yourself. Not me, not Lisa. We can share wisdom, we can prod stuff within your soul, your brain, your heart, whatever that is that you need. But ultimately, if you sat in silence and stillness and were really truthfully honest with yourself, you would know what the next step is.
100%. Thank you, Helen. And that leads really nicely into what today's show will be talking into, which is all about authenticity. Um, Being authentically yourself is something that Helen and I are incredibly passionate about, because, again, it goes back to your purpose, your reason for being here, your jigsaw in that puzzle, your snowflake in that collective. You came to earth, you incarnated with gifts. So if you were being anything other than your authentic self, you were robbing the world of your gifts. And we'll talk into authenticity in a moment together, and what that means, and how we have approached our own journeys towards being our authentic self. But as Helen said, you'll always get the truth from us, and we'll always be completely honest. And being your authentic self isn't the Hollywood, the Disney, riding on a unicorn and wearing a deerstalker hat because you're being brave and bold and looking unique and authentic. Being authentic is the really hard, day in, day out, standing in your power, doing the uncomfortable things. And one thing you will get continually throughout these recordings with Hannah and I is always asking you to lean into the uncomfortable, because it's in that uncomfortable feeling where the growth is. It's in that uncomfortable feeling where you're hiding from yourself or you're lying to yourself. That's where the growth is. That's where you need to shine that light. So being authentic, it's difficult. It's saying no when you're frightened and you've got that pull in your stomach because you don't want to, and you've always said yes and you've tried to please other people. It's saying yes to yourself. It's the getting up every day and making a commitment to do the things that you want to do towards being your best self. I'm sure Helen will have something to add on that too.
Yeah, just when you were talking there, the one word that kept coming up for me was vulnerability, because I think that in a world that places so many masks on our faces, and I'm not just talking about the last 18 months, I mean the kind of what you're saying, that whole smiling when you feel like absolute rubbish, and saying yes when you really want to say no. It's kind of hiding behind these masks of, well, everything, that actually removing the masks and shedding some of that skin that you're holding on to, it takes vulnerability. And for me, that was one of the things that showing up as myself, really, really real, really real, like really authentic, showing up as myself, I had to be vulnerable. I had to allow myself to be vulnerable. And that again comes with baby steps. It comes with leaning into the uncomfortable in minute tasks daily and consistently, and those adding up. And if I'm being honest, it's only when you get so far down the line that you stop and look back and be like, whoa, I'm doing this. I'm actually doing it. It's kind of like, when you first learning to swim and you let go of the side and you get to the middle of the pool and you look back and you realize how far you've come. It's kind of like that. And I think that we don't just suddenly decide, I'm not wearing the mask anymore, I'm going to start saying yes and no and all that jazz, and do it. This is about unlearning all the stuff that you have learned and how you've learned to live. And it's doing things differently. And sometimes you will slip back into old ways, and other times you'll absolutely boss it. But ultimately, it's just about being gentle with yourself and doing your best in that given moment. And for me, the only way that you can show up as your authentic self is by going inwards and learning who that is and feeling into what's important to you and what's filling you up, what lights your soul, what absolutely drains the life out of you, and really getting to know yourself, know thyself, and yeah, and then implementing that into the material world.
Yeah, 100%. Because change doesn't come in those big moments. We think we have these big life defining moments, and we do. Things happen that shake us and rock us to our core, but change comes in those daily, consistent, small baby steps of working towards change. Um, and it's not easy, it's not easy to unlearn all of the programming that you've had from a child, from an adolescent, because it's all there in the background. We even have things in our background that tell us we can't change, a leopard can't change its spots. But what we need to start doing is challenging, first and foremost, our own behaviours and our own beliefs. And that's where you'll find your authentic self. And as Helen said, the expert of who you are at your core is you. And you can listen to us and we will hold space and we will give you our wisdom. You can read books and you can go externally and search for things, and you will find little nuggets of wisdom, because um, I wouldn't be where I am without reading all of the Wayne Dyers and the Louise Hayes and all of the other self-help things that I've done. But ultimately, it was standing and facing my shadow, my uncomfortable parts, that made me realize who I am at my core and challenging what I thought and believed.
And we've probably made this whole authentic journey sound blooming terrifying. Um, and that sometimes, if I'm being honest, it is. It's so uncomfortable. But would I exchange that for a life of living behind masks and unfulfillment? Absolutely not. Because when you live in a place of being yourself and being comfortable with yourself, even those blooming parts you're not fond of, like there's something really spectacular about that. And it's totally worthwhile in terms of the feeling and the flow and the amount of energy it takes to fight who you truly are, or please other people, or do stuff that drains you that's absolutely not in alignment to you, that that is exhausting, the amount of energy. So to do the work and to live in a place where that energy can be used to share your gifts, make a difference, do stuff that lights your soul up, is that worthwhile? 100%. And a lot of the people that me and Lisa work with, when you are external and you view that kind of the growth and the transformation that happens, and you will know it, you listening now, you will know it when you meet somebody who is just themselves, whether they resonate with you or not, you know it. You know somebody who is 100% true to themselves and their soul is lit because they are showing up as themselves. And I get it. We live in a world where people go, who does she think she is? Who does she think she is? Because somebody is comfortable with themselves. And a world where people will try to pull you down for living in alignment and having that kind of sparkly soul, I like to think of it as, because you are living in alignment. Um, well, that's all part of the journey, and you can see it. And if you can see it in other people, imagine how that feels.
Yeah, that's a lovely way to describe it, a glittery soul, because it's what it feels like. It's when you feel like you sparkle, when you are being true to who you are. And as we've said, authenticity isn't what you wear, it isn't even what you say, it's a knowing and a being inside of you. And you are never going to show up as your authentic self 100% of the time, because you are human. We have shadow sides. You're going to have moments of jealousy, you're going to have moments of anger, you're going to have moments when your inner critic kicks in, when your past pain points rear their head again. And it's just saying, okay, in this moment, I accept that I maybe behaved in a way that wasn't in alignment with who I am. Tomorrow I'll do better. And if I can give any piece of advice, and I don't give advice generally because who am I to give advice? And you are the expert of you. But if I can just give some kind of prompt, it's on a night before you slip into a sleep, being really okay with how the day went, the good, the bad, the shadow, the ugly, being grateful and appreciative of the moments that went well and proud of yourself for the things that you did well. But the other side of that, just being completely okay with the parts of you in that day that didn't behave in line with your authentic self, that wasn't this complete spiritual being, that gave into the humanness, because this is a human experience which we came here to have. And just think, tomorrow I'll do better, because it doesn't matter how well your day went, tomorrow we can always do better.
I
Anything
love
else you'd
that.
like to
And
add
I
on that,
actually
Helen?
think to sit there and take a few moments at the end of the day to reflect on that stuff and be in appreciation and gratitude and acceptance of all parts of what is in that moment, that's something special. And to do that is just nurturing that connection to self and being okay with our humanness and this journey that we are all on of just doing our best, just finding our way. And here's the thing, if you take one thing from this show, let it be that in every moment you are doing your best and you are growing. Like, we're all just doing our best. Like, me and Lisa can again share our wisdom, but one, we're not the experts of you, and two, we are absolutely not coming at you from a pedestal. We're in the trenches with you. So there will be moments when we have to go inwards on an inward journey and sit in stillness and reflect and be with the uncomfortable, and again sit at the end of the day and be like, didn't really handle that great, but in the moment I was doing my best, because we're here with you. We're in the trenches, and this isn't about coming at you from a higher place of anything. This is just about being here and being here with you.
And you taking a moment to listen to us and do this is making that commitment to yourself. And Helen and I are all about being in each and every moment, because as Helen just said, when you're in the moment, there is nothing external. If you stop and be in this moment, you're right here. And we will talk about different topics. Today's authenticity, but one of the things that we will do, and possibly the next one, will be on abundance. When I did my inner work on abundance, one of the things that really struck a chord with me, and now apply it to all other things, was that in this moment, I have more than I need. And right now, in this moment, I do have more than I need. I've got a house, I'm safe, I'm secure, I've got money, I've got food in the cupboard. I might want more, I might like more, but right now I have more than I actually need. And in each and every moment, you are enough. If you stop and you take a breath, and in this moment, you are enough exactly as you are. In this moment, this one moment here, you are your authentic self because you stopped to just be here. So just take more moments like this one.
So the moments when you, and we've all done it, where you sit and you go, oh, I really shouldn't have said that earlier. That is that helpful, because right here in this moment, the past has happened. Like, we cannot control what has happened. And we have some level of control over the future in terms of, yes, I can plan in this moment to move forward, but actually all we ever have is this moment. So if you are doing your best in this moment and you are being yourself, there's nothing else you need. Yeah, there might be stuff that you desire and want, and that's okay too. And we'll come to that when we talk about abundance. But actually, in terms of authenticity, you right here listening to this now are exactly where you are meant to be. There'll be stuff in your past that doesn't logically make sense to you, or that's still painful, and that's okay. There's ways that we can be okay with that, and even just working on acceptance of that can help. But in terms of being here right now in this moment and just appreciating, you know what, this is where I'm meant to be. Taking time to reflect and be with yourself and how blooming awesome you actually are. Because, like Lisa said, that inner critic will always creep in. It's part of our brain, it's survival, it's how we're hardwired. But equally, you have an inner champion, and I bet you don't give that any attention. So it's calling that in and sitting with the awesomeness that is you and how you impact on other people's lives and the gifts and the special parts that you can bring to the world that nobody else can, not in the way that you can. It's all of that. It's about getting balance and leaning into who you feel you are at your core and being with that in every moment and living in alignment to that. And I've just seen two butterflies go past my window.
That is crazy. The confirmation for us. Um, Helen and I are very fly by the seat of your pants. And I'm going to totally put her on the spot here, but she's okay because she's used to that and she does it to me too. I'm going to do a little, very short meditation to help you connect to your authentic self, because your authentic self is very different to everyone else's. And then I'm going to put Helen on the spot to do a little exercise to also help you stand in your authentic self.
Hey, I
And
didn't
as I
sign
do
up
the
for
little
this.
meditation, I'll give a chance to come up with something, because she'll be able to pull it out fast, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, brilliant. So just take a moment with me, and I just want you for just a second to take a deep breath in. And I want you to think of Tinkerbell. Think of how she shines and how she sparkles. She doesn't try to, she just is shiny and sparkly. And somewhere inside your body, there is that same sparky, shiny little fairy. Find that inside of you now. And I want you to breathe into that area. And I want you to just say to yourself right now, I believe. I believe. Because for magic to exist, we need to believe. And there is magic inside all of us. That magic we came with, we incarnated with it, we came to share it. And with every breath that you take, that colour, that magic inside of you is growing and growing and growing until it becomes an orb around you. And I want you to just move your shoulders and your arms backwards and forwards. I want you to feel those wings like Tinkerbell had. And there might be fairy wings, but they also might be butterfly wings. Because you are stepping out of your caterpillar energy and you are embracing the magic of emerging into your authentic self, knowing that every choice that you make is taking you a step closer to that. I want you to just take a moment to imagine, to create, to see your wings. Some of you, they might be clear, they might be fairy wings, they might be dragonfly wings. Some of you, they might be colourful wings of a butterfly. But I want you to just hold that energy. And just affirm to yourself, I am my authentic self. I am my authentic self. I accept all parts of my authentic self. And right here, right now, I commit every day to honoring that part of myself. And then take a moment to feel how amazing it feels when your wings take flight, when you fly in the stream of flow, in that golden energy, when you just be you. And just taking another deep breath in. Feeling your own earthly body now. And when you're ready, taking another deep breath in and bringing yourself back to the present moment. And whenever I do a meditation like that, I'm never sure what's going to happen. I just go with whatever I'm shown. And I was shown Tinkerbell, and then the butterflies, obviously, Helen and I have had. And towards the end of that meditation, all that I could see was a bright yellow flower and a little bee burrowing in for the pollen. Because bees defy all logic. Aerodynamically, bees shouldn't even be able to fly. But they do. And they are completely their little authentic self in a jumper. I'll have to put in Helen on the spot. I'll now pass you over to Helen.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Feeling very zen listening to your little voice. It's so magical. So I'm just going to ask you to just take your hands and place it on your heart for a moment. And however that, it doesn't matter how you kind of find that, but I just want you to sit and feel your heart beating. And just sit in this moment and feel your human heart doing the work that keeps you alive right now, just doing its thing. And maybe you can still feel some of that magic from Lisa's meditation. And first of all, just taking a moment to think about what are the chances that in this moment you are here on this earth listening to me and Lisa. What are the chances? I mean, statistically, I don't actually know. I'm going to guess. It's a very, very, very high ratio and a minute chance that you were brought to this earth at this time for a reason. And beneath your human heart beating, At the very core of you, you have that knowing that you are here to make a difference. And there's a reason that you have experienced every little thing that you have experienced so far as a human. And even if that logically doesn't make sense, even if you cannot comprehend that due to pain that you still hold, this takes a certain level of trust when you think about what are the chances that you would be here now listening to me speak, with that deep knowing that you have something to share to the world. I want to pull in on what Lisa was sharing about the magic and the Tinkerbell. And after you continue the rest of your day from listening to us, I invite you to do everything, every little task with Tinkerbell's magic, whether that's making a cup of tea. Do it with love and kindness and magic. Whether that's a phone call or text, set your attention to do it from your soul, from your heart space, with love, kindness, and magic. You get a shower, taking time, feel the magic in the water, the smells of the shampoo and the shower gel. But consciously taking time for the rest of today to do everything, every little thing with magic. And just at times, replacing your hand on your heartbeat and reminding yourself, what are the chances? Because sometimes when we have that deep inner knowing that we are here to show up and share our gifts, and logically our human doesn't know what that looks like right now, it can feel a little bit, I don't know, disturbing, like we're lost, uncomfortable. And actually, that prevents us from bringing magic to the moments, to every single moment. Because you can share your gifts from your soul in every single moment, in the making the cups of tea, in the making food for your family, in the telephone conversations. You don't need to see the bigger picture right now. Just show up from your soul, from your heart, and bring magic to the moment. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you, Helen. That's beautiful. And I understand now. I think about Kevin. One of my sayings that I come back to a lot for mindfulness is that mindfulness, being mindful in this moment, is literally bringing magic into the mundane. Because in the mundane is where the magic is. Our mundane day to day lives lead us to the aha moments. Um, this is the Red Tent Wisdom Show. I'm Lisa.
I'm Helen, and thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us and being here with us.
We have absolutely loved doing it, and we cannot wait to see you again in the next show or hear you again if you hear us. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye.
Bye.